Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet, and tensions between India and Pakistan have escalated again at the United Nations over the violent crackdown in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Protests are raging across POJK for the past 2 weeks. People led by the Joint Awami Action Committee are demanding cheaper food, better electricity and political rights. Security forces opened fire on demonstrators in places like Rawala Court, killing at least 20 to 24 people and injuring many more. A complete shutdown is enforced with the internet blackouts, mass arrests and extra troops deployed. Anger is rising against Pakistani rule as July elections come closer. At the UN Human Rights Council, India slammed Pakistan for its brutal actions. India's diplomat called out the killings of civilians in Rawalkot and said that demands for basic rights are being met with bullets. India described Pakistan as a state that nurtures terrorism and has no right to lecture others on human rights, while reiterating that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Meanwhile, Pakistani President Asif Zardari expressed concern over alleged threats to a historic mosque in Varanasi. India's Ministry of External Affairs strongly rejected this remark, saying Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on India's internal affairs and should first address its own poor human rights record. This raises a very serious question. Can Pakistan really lecture or school India on human rights when this is happening in its own backyard? We'll discuss this with our guest. Joining us on the platform is Major General A.K. Chaturvedi, defense expert, Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat, with us on the program as well, Mr. Utpal Kaul, Kashmiri activist, and last but not the least, Air Commodore Sanjeev Mendirata, former Air Force officer, is joining us on the program as well. Thank you everyone for being a part of this conversation. Ambassador Mukherjee, this must seem like deja vu to you. You know, you've been with the UN, you have spoken about what kind of disposition Pakistan expects of India and what we expect of Pakistan when something goes wrong in POJK. And this is the standard playbook. You know, they pretty much like to do what Donald Trump likes to do. Attack, 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 and not have any kind of a justification for the atrocities that they are meting out to these people in POJK. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Vineet, you're quite right. And the Reformed Human Rights Council, which came into being about 10 years ago, actually has far more clout than the Human Rights Commission, its predecessor body for which I worked. Today, the debates in the Human Rights Council are picked up instantly by social media and have huge traction. Moreover, it is very ironical that the people of POJK understand by looking across the border how much India's Kashmir has progressed, how much they have benefited from the development narrative, how many more rights they have as citizens of India, etc. And therefore, that triggers off a whole pattern of demonstrations, etc., which are then violently put down by the Pakistanis, almost as if they don't believe that the people of POJK are their own people, which they are not. They are part of India, actually. But the violent way in which these demonstrations are being put down will further alienate these people and create another very important fault line for Pakistan, which it can ill afford. It has fault lines in Balochistan, it has fault lines across the Durand border, it has now these very important fault lines in POJK, and yet they claim to be super savvy, super intelligent, super good at international mediation, etc., etc. There is an internal contradiction here beneath, which has to give, because it is imploding under its own internal fault lines, which only Pakistan can resolve, nobody else. They can't say that India has created these fault lines. They have created their own fault lines, because in Pakistan today, what matters is Pakistan, Punjab, and no other part of Pakistan. And that is the greatest fault line, in my perspective, which will cause Pakistan to implode sooner rather than later. Vinny.
You're quite right, ma'am. General Chaturvedi, in fact, isn't this the same playbook that Pakistan has also exercised in Balochistan? You know, extract all resources, not give anything in return, impoverish the people over there, generate no employment or create any industry, and fill the coffers of the generals in Rawalpindi. So you're muted. I can't. Yeah, there you are, sir.
You can hear me now. Thanks, Sitan, Vineet, for inviting me for your show. What you are saying is absolutely right. Actually, I substantiate what Ambassador Mukherjee said, that as far as Pakistan policies are concerned, it is, say, Islamabad centric, and that too, Punjabi they have got a kind of a supremacy over others. And let me discuss in two parts. Part one is what you talked about, say Balochistan. Balochistan, of course, all their resources they're extracting and giving nothing in return. So that is how the say unrest is there. But more importantly, for our discussion of today, let us say that about these water issues. Let just concentrate on water issues. They are paying less money as compared to their provinces, what they are giving to people of POJK. One. Secondly, the kind of rights after that Constitutional Amendment 18, they don't have much of rights. So therefore, what is there is, and India has got full strength to say what we said in UN, because POJK is part of India. When we oppose CPEC, it is because it is part of India. And on the contrary, when he tries to say skirt the issue by raising the issue of Ganj Shahida Mosque or something in Varanasi, he has no locus standi. You know, he should separate two issues. What they are doing in JNK, POJK is simply atrocity. And what we are doing is something as per law. It is that they have been given a notice and it's a legal action which will take its own course. So therefore, my sense is that Pakistan has got very limited shelf life because of their own inaptitude, their own reasons. And this is resulting not only in POJK. Today, the situation in Sindh is equally bad because that water, they are extracting all the water within Punjab. So therefore, sea is ingressing into the Sukkar bowl, and which is the main rice bowl of that area. So therefore, that is one problem. Because of the Kalabag issues, as far as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is also not very happy. So therefore, they are doing exactly the same thing with all other provinces. So in a synthetic country where there is no kind of say strength to bind them together except Islam, I think sometime or the other it is going to fail. My sense is that time for Pakistan is running out terribly.
All right, let me also rope in Air Commodore Sanjeev Mehndiratta into this conversation. Sir, how are you looking at this situation? Pakistan obviously bankrupt at this time. Fuel prices and the value of the Pakistani rupee is also in a free fall. Yet they somehow find the money and the will, to target innocent civilians in POJK. From India's point of view, what should be our mission in getting what rightfully belongs to us, if you catch my drift?
I do catch. Hello, Vineet. Let me tell you what Pakistan thinks about this whole thing. They were never expecting a problem and a fault line in the east and the north, while they were having all kind of problems at Afghan border as well as Balochistan at this particular moment, while their economy is showing a downtrend and they're having a lot of problems. Now let's see what's happened in the last 1 week, why this issue has again started coming up. After Trump said that we would be standing by India and fighting with India, there have been 4 statements in the parliament there in Pakistan, hearing that Sindoor 2 is just on the way and it can happen anytime. And on top of that, the problems in their Kashmir, their part of Kashmir, which they call, that is POK, those problems, including the Trump statement, and they are expecting anytime India is going to attack, all the conditions are meeting for India to attack us. And that's why this panic has come up. And that's how they are looking at it. And they feel all this has been fielded by India. All these single aspects, everything is being connected together, whether it is our defense minister's statement about Sindoor 2, or it's about our development in the field of missiles and the other defense equipment, or it is about Trump saying something, or there is a problem festering in POK. They are connecting all this and they are in panic. Not one but four members have spoken that it is impending, it's almost there, and we can be attacked any moment. And it is basically emanating from that fear, and those statements are coming from that fear. Otherwise, like we've been discussing, it's been there for the last 7, 8 decades that they are trying to make it an international issue, the Kashmir issue, and we have been trying to say that it is a bilateral issue and we should be able to resolve it. Even Trump, when he tried to say that, would you like me to mediate? We were very clear that this is a bilateral issue for us. So that is how it is. So if you look at how they look at it, that makes more sense. And then we can decide what it is going to do for us and how we should be going about it in the near future. Yes, we need.
Mr. Kaul, how should we be going about it? India has always countered Pakistan at these UN face-offs. But do you think that an actual face-off militarily is going to be the eventual requirement if these innocent civilians are to be freed of Pakistani oppression, sir?
Vineet, thank you very much. Let me tell you, I came only yesterday from Krishan Ganga Valley, which is very near to Muzaffarabad and Rawalkot. And I have to tell you, according to the treaty or according to the accession of Maharaja Hari Singh in 1947-48, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh, Gilgit, which includes Rawalkot, Muzaffarabad, Kotli, Bimbar, all that is Indian territory legally. And Pakistan is forcibly occupying it, and not only the territory only, our brothers and sisters living in POJK are suffering. They are part of our Jammu and Kashmir, and they were part of Jammu and Kashmir for 150 years when it was Maharaja Ranjit Singh had annexed it. So let me tell you that these residents in POJK, they are in great frustration because Pakistan has always thought that they are second-rate citizens. It is not only in Rawalkot or Bimbar or Kotli or Muzaffarabad. It is happening in Gilgit, and in Gilgit also they have risen and had a kind of a mutiny against the Pakistan government and Pakistan army. So this time, if you travel from Srinagar towards Titwal or the border area, it looks as if you are traveling in Los Angeles because the houses, the beautiful houses made by Kashmiris right and left of the highway, these are fantastic houses. And when in POJK they must be seeing these pictures, it must be totally disheartening and frustrating for them where we are and where are the people in Kashmir, how they have progressed, how we have made in these 10 years, 10 universities, AIMS and whatnot, and NITs, engineering colleges, and such a progress. And there is a rush of tourists coming to this side of Kashmir, and on the other side, they don't have rice, they don't have wheat, they are fighting for electricity. As already one of our generals has said that the rate which they pay in Lahore and in Karachi, double that rate they have to pay in common man in POJK. So it is, they are second-rate citizens, and I may tell you, that time is running for them. These people may agitate in big way that they will join India. And it is a matter of time. I see in few years, POJK will be part of India. Now Zardari talking of Varanasi Mosque, I challenge him, I can discuss with him that he must take care of his own places and see what they have done to our archaeological places, our heritage, which is in Pakistan, temples in. They are in very in shamble, in the bad condition. Here, nearly 100,000 mosques are nicely maintained, and Muslims are free to enjoy life here in India, has great chance of progress and total freedom. They are equal citizens, but it is not in Pakistan. Hindus in minority, Christians, Sikhs, they are second-rate citizens. Zardari must take care of these minorities in Pakistan. He must take care of the heritage, which is thousands of years, our heritage in Pakistan, and let them take some good care. It is a kind of a genocide. You said that 20 people. My information is nearly 100 people have been killed in Rawalakot and around. Thank you.
Ambassador Mukherjee, what do you make of the fact that perhaps Pakistan has gone too far when it comes to testing the patience of these people? Do you think that it's only a matter of time, when that threshold is going to be breached by Pakistan, and there is going to be some sort of an insurrection?
Definitely, I agree absolutely with my co-panelists on the fact that they try to change, Vineet, in a very sinister manner, the demographics of POJK. They didn't succeed. They couldn't get enough Punjabis to move to POJK. So the population of POJK, although it's changed somewhat, still remains POJK. Secondly, as was pointed out by my co-panelists, the difference in development between that side and this side of the border is now too stark to be ignored. The development narrative in Kashmir today is such that those on the other side of the border deeply regret that the Pakistani government has done nothing for them. And moreover, when they legitimately protest, they are put down with brutal force, almost as if the Pakistani army is waging a war against India. In other words, the Pakistani army and the Punjabi ruled Pakistan does not consider POJK to be part of Pakistan, because it is unheard of, as my two military colleagues would confirm, it is unheard of to use such brutal military force on your own civilian population. We've never done it. Nobody does it. You're supposed to handle such situations in a completely different way, because you're not fighting an external enemy. These are your own people, in case you consider them to be your own people. Therefore, I would agree with my co-panelists and with Utpal Kaulji that the time is fast coming when there will be insurrection in POJK. And it is no point in passing it off to India and India's sinister designs, etc. All these uprisings come from within, and there are now too many internal fault lines. They cannot handle Baluchistan, Afghanistan and POJK simultaneously, while having a sinking economy, while their field marshal struts around as if he is the commander of a huge army, a huge country, etc. There is an inherent contradiction which will get exposed sooner rather than later. And even President Trump, I noticed, Vineet, is now speaking slightly differently in more nuanced language about the field marshal on one hand, and President Trump is speaking much more positively about India and about our Prime Minister. So these things are shifting. Geopolitics are shifting. And what a joke to try and point the finger at us when we are a country with so many different religions and everyone has freedom of worship. There's no issue at all. So they would be better advised, as has been said by my co-panelists, to look after their minorities who are in terrible conditions. Not just Hindus, Shias, Sufis, Sikhs, they have been all driven out. In fact, there is such a deep Shia-Sunni divide within Pakistan that is also reflected beneath in the Pakistani army, where the regiments are not according to Shia and Sunni, they are mixed, which is why they have not been able to send a battalion for many years to Saudi Arabia because the Saudis want an all Sunni battalion, and that is not possible. The Pakistani army is still composite Shia Sunni army. So these are very, very tricky situations for them. It means that if push comes to shove, there will be those in the army who would resist the genocide of Pakistani Shias on one hand, and on the other hand, there would be Sunnis who would refuse to shoot fellow Sunnis in Balochistan or in POJK. These are very tricky issues. And I think Zardari, who has such a bad reputation for corruption, etc., would be best advised to look after his own affairs. He used to be called Mr. 10% when his wife Benazir was Prime Minister. His official designation in Pakistan, even among Pakistani diplomats, was Mr. 10%.
You're absolutely right about that, ma'am. And considering the fact that the Americans are cozying up to the Pakistani at this point in time, considering the hostilities, find Pakistan in the middle of these negotiations is something that Pakistan is taking some sort of a solace in. But the truth is that their economy is in shambles and their reputation is known to India only. We've run out of time, but I appreciate everybody who joined us and spoke about this important issue. We'll take a short break. Be right back.